Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We are so thrilled to do this training with you. We cannot wait to talk to you about email marketing and email campaigns. It's going to be super exciting.
Absolutely. Hey, y'all. Yeah, we are so glad that you're here. Okay, so we'll get started because really there's so much information to share about this particular topic. But what I really want you to know, okay, breathe in, breathe out, let it release. You do not have to know every bit of the things that we're going to be talking about. You don't even have to implement every bit of the things that we're going to be talking about. So don't get overwhelmed with the amount of information we're going to share today. I will say, go ahead and jot down some notes though, and kind of keep that in your frame of reference there. But the main thing is when you're talking about email marketing, just get started. All right. The fine tuning can happen a little bit later down the road, but certainly the things that we're going to talk about are, a couple of them are really, we'll let you know when it's like, yeah, let's pay attention to that for sure. But really just kind of the main thing about email marketing is get started. That's it. Get started.
That's right. And we're going to kick things off. So, to be able to link everything together. So let's just say you've discovered your ideal audience. You've developed a lead magnet to provide value to them, as well as you're growing a list of contacts that you can begin to serve. So you've made a landing page with contact fields so you can collect emails and text information. The next step is really determining what is next when it comes to email for you.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I'm going to add the first vocabulary word here, and that word is campaign. So when you hear me say or hear us say the words email campaigns, what we're really talking about is the flow of emails that will nurture your ideal audience. Like so, we already mentioned, you got that, you know what that is, from the point where they grab your lead magnet all the way through becoming a loyal follower and possibly a customer or client of yours through learning who you are, what you serve through emails. So that's it. When we say email campaign, it is just a series of done already written campaigns that you want to put somebody into a flow of, and they get to know you better. So first of all, let's talk about the foundation of any successful email campaign, or just about anything you do really, is understanding your audience. And we talked about that before, but really every email that you send should be like sending a really personalized letter to a friend of yours, not just a generic message that people are going to get in their inbox. So really approach it like that. That's just like, if they just get other generic messages, think about it. I actually went through and emptied out some of my emails. I think I deleted like 500, and within 2 days, I was back up to where I was. That is just mind blowing to think that's even true. But that means that I'm getting a lot of generic looking emails. And so I'm just going through and deleting them without ever opening them, without ever reading them. But you really need to get to know your subscribers, know their interests, know their needs, know their preferences, so that you can tailor content. And that's what your emails are. Tailor your content to make a real connection with them. Your audience really is at the core of everything that you do in any type of marketing, whether it's email marketing, social media marketing, or whatever. So the more you know about them, the more personalized and effective your emails are going to be.
Yeah, that is a really good point. So it's hard to serve someone well when you're just really kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? So not knowing what they really want or need, knowing your audience is huge. And we've talked about ways to find out about your audience, like joining groups, conducting polls and surveys, and like personally asking friends who are your ideal audience, demographics, among other ways, to make sure that information into the account as you move through this process, right? Because if you're new to this, it can be a little daunting, but it's something that needs to be done. So growing a high quality email list is not just about quantity, it's about quality. And you want to engage with interested subscribers who genuinely want to hear from you. So you want your lead magnet really to lead you into the right people, not just a ton of random people, because it doesn't make any sense. That's not going to convert into sales.
Yeah, exactly. And when you've got your we've said it, the value packed lead magnet, That's really the whole foundation of growing that email list. And there are ways, of course, to get those into the hands of your audience. And I will mention that one of those is to get it there organically. And really what that means is to offer it for, if for free. You're offering it in an environment where your group or your audience lives. So maybe you go into a group and you say, hey, I've got this, after you've researched and you realize that a lot of people in your ideal audience want a certain thing. They need I used to hate it when I was in college hearing about widgets, but they need a guide to the widgets or whatever. And you can say, I've got this awesome guide to widgets. And people are, I would love to have that guide, whatever. So you're going into a group or into some type of environment where your audience lives, if you want to say lives, and offering that to them. So that's an organic way where they interact with you. Another way we're not going to really go deep into, but it's to run ads. And that can put your lead magnet into the hands of people who might not otherwise see it because it's spread through a bigger audience there. But I would say, really concentrate on that first technique, on that organic reach out for your lead magnet. The other one, it's just an additional way to do it for sure. But so, like I said, we're not going to go into doing ads right now, maybe a little bit later, but just kind of keep that in your background. But maybe as you grow that you want to start investing in ads, you can certainly get your lead magnet in the front of more of your audience than you might if you just went into a group or two. So once you have now this group of people who have said, yes, I want your lead magnet, and you've done like Melinda mentioned, you've got your lead magnet, then you get them to a landing page where you can collect their email addresses, phone numbers, whatever else you think is essential for them. Then you start to nurture them. So what's the most important thing? We're going to look at some email essentials, and literally, I want you to picture an email. So we're literally going to go to the top of that email and talk about crafting a compelling subject line for your email. That's a big thing.
Yeah. And that's a gateway into your audience's inbox. So crafting compelling subject lines they pique curiosity, they entice the recipients to open your email. And that right there is an art within itself. It's really a hook. And probably, most of us, if we've sent business emails of any kind, they probably fizzle out, some of them, right? So writing subject lines that stand out is essential to capturing your audience's attention and getting emails opened. So here are some of the proven techniques to help you craft compelling subject lines. Number one, keep it short and sweet and aim for like the subject line to be concise and to the point. So if you have a short subject line, make sure that it's fully visible on mobile devices. That's kind of key because most emails are open on mobile devices these days. And number two, create a sense of urgency. So you're going to use words and catchphrases that create a sense of like, oh my gosh, open now. This needs to be done immediately. Words like limited time offer, last chance, ending soon can all motivate your people to open their email right away.
Yeah, great points there. I love that. And y'all, honestly, because starting emails, starting anything like that is really kind of a sticking point. It's one of those things where people get so stuck. And we have a lot of hints. So be sure you're taking notes there. And I'm going to throw this out there shamelessly. Go to something that has AI. If you really do get stuck and you're like, I don't know how to make this sound exciting or whatever. Honestly, go to ChatGPT, go to Canva and do Magic Write and ask them to create 5 compelling subject lines for an email that will tell them about this, tell them about widgets or whatever your offer is. And you'll get some ideas. And the thing is, don't start feeling icky that your high school English teacher is going to start attacking you or anything like that. As a former high school English teacher, I get that. But just kind of think of it as it's just a prompt for you. You don't have to copy it, but you'll get some neat things that you might not have thought about. And then you go, oh, and believe it or not, that will start your own creative juices kind of flowing. So I just want to put that out there, kind of a bonus there for you. But when you're talking about emails, just moving forward is going to be huge. So Melinda mentioned 2 things, and you can use, I mean, obviously you're not going to use every one of these in every single subject line, right? So the next one, personalize it when it's appropriate and when it's possible. Meaning that you're going to include that person's in the subject line, you're going to include their first name or something like that. And honestly, almost every email service system, no matter what you use, from Aweber to MailChimp to Flowdesk to something in Wix or CloudKey or whatever, most of those have a way that you can include a dynamic field that you may have 1,000 people on your email list, but they've all given you their first name. So you can plug in on there, hey, Susie, here's the most exciting ways to use widgets that you had asked for or something like that. So you're actually personalizing it, because there are some things, if you see your own name in a subject line, you're going to look at that more closely. I mean, who doesn't? And putting that towards the beginning of it so it doesn't disappear on mobile, that's a big deal, is to see that showing up. It's going to make you look at it more. It's going to make you open it. Another one is to use emojis. Again, if this is not your brand is more serious, your offer is more professionally serious, then don't use emojis. But I like to use emojis for mine. And so I'll usually put like one at the beginning of my subject line, one at the end. Maybe I'll, when I put, if I don't do beginning and end and I put, hey, Susie, then I might put a smiley face emoji or something like that. They can add a touch of visual appeal. And I'll go ahead and say, along with myself, when I am scrolling my emails, my eyes, again, catch my own name and emojis. So if someone has used an emoji, I'm going to read their subject line more than if it's just words. So kind of think about that. It can be playful. It can be fun. Use them sparingly. Make sure it aligns with your brand. But it is something that you can use to catch somebody's attention. Just don't put it everywhere, of course, but that's an idea. So personalization and some cute little emojis once in a while.
Yeah, that is great. We have lots of suggestions because we get so many different styles of email marketing. But just remember, you can use 1 or 2 of these. You don't have to use all of them, and that's totally fine. So, but just pay attention to the guidelines and use your best techniques. Know your audience. Know what they are. What they're
Know their
wanting
personalities.
from you,
Yeah.
right? Their personalities for sure. So next we have number 5, which is ask a question. So you're gonna pose a thought-provoking question that sparks curiosity and makes the recipient wonder what the answer is. So leading them then to open the email just so they can have that more extra information. And number 6 is offer value and benefit. Make sure that you're clearly communicating the value or the benefit to who you're sending the emails to. It will help them open the email, but also gain that know, like, and trust with them, even more so with you. So, whether it's like a discount or an exclusive content or a solution to a problem, focus on what's in it for them always.
All right, very cool. And we've got a few extras here. So we're going to do a quick overview of a few of those. One of them, we did number 6, number 7, whether it's on your lead magnet, whether it's in your Pinterest pin or whatever, use numbers and list on there. So like 5 tips for boosting productivity or 10 must-have summer skin essentials. That gets people's attention as well, seeing those little numbers. And I'll just go ahead and say, don't go more than 10. Don't say 20 summer essentials, because who wants to really open up something to read 20 anythings? I just hate to say it, but it's true. Right. But if you did maybe 5 or 7, it's kind of fun to play around with numbers to see what gets your audience, kind of interested. If they, if they're not opening 5s, send a 3 and see what happens if they open that. You never know. You just got to learn your audience. It really kind of is a trial and error thing. Just saying it is. Create curiosity. Do a little tease at the beginning of your subject line. And I would say, picking things out of your lead magnet, because I will say this too, kind of free information about me. and maybe about you, have you ever gotten someone's information, their lead magnet, their freebie, whatever it is, and honestly not looked at it? Or you might open it up and look at a couple, but you don't look at the whole thing. Well, that would be me. And one thing to suggest is, because that happens to all of us, is maybe if you gave in your lead magnet 5 tips for boosting productivity, then you've got 5 emails that you can send out for tip 1 and explain that a little bit into your email. Tip 2, but creating the curiosity at the beginning, some things somebody will say, 5 tips for boosting productivity. And number 3, it might shock you. That is kind of making people go, well, what's going to shock me about it? And they may open it up too. So that's creating curiosity. Just some things to kind of help you to avoid spam or being sent to the spam box, because these spam filters really do read your subject lines. They also read they can scan subject lines. They can scan your text. Avoiding all caps or excessive punctuations. It might seem cute to you to put lots of exclamation points, but a spam seeking robot might not find that cute and may send it to spam because they just don't want to see it. Or your reader might see that as being maybe unprofessional or not cute, or even as aggressive if you put all caps, because doesn't all caps, like for most people, mean that you're shouting? Mm-hmm. I have nieces and nephews that for some reason all the time when they were in high school, they would send everything in all caps and with exclamation point. And I'm going, why are they? And I even knew, it's like, why are they yelling all the time? We kind of made a joke about that, but it does. It seems a little aggressive. So maybe use one word of all, capitalizing it because you want people to focus in on it, but you don't want them to see everything in a subject line as all caps. Next one, number 11. We've actually given you 11 tips now. Use power words, things that are going to have powerful and persuasive words that makes people excited, like exclusive and free, amazing, breakthrough, secret sauce, whatever. Mm-hmm. Put those in there. It does cause people to be more curious. So, those kinds of things are tested, are, things that are, people are able to be analyzing those kinds of things to try to do that. You can even put things in that show that this offer or this email or this session is time sensitive. So maybe say for today only, or 2 hours left to register, or to grab this freebie or something like that. People often will look at those. I did last week. I think it was an hour and a half before a webinar started, I got an email that said it started at this particular time. And actually I had an appointment, but I went ahead and registered for it just because I wanted to see what it was about and listen to it while I was waiting. So just kind of know that you can send those out, even if it is, an hour before a webinar. You never know who's going to open that up that didn't see something before. A little more advanced technique that I haven't even gotten into yet, to be really frank. I know what it is. I've tried it with others, but I don't do it myself, is an A/B testing, where maybe you'll send out half of your email list may get one subject line, and another half of your email list may get a different one. And that always made me feel a little bit weird, because I'm like, well, what if that half doesn't like my subject line, and then they don't open my amazingly valuable email?
Right.
So that's why I didn't do it. But honestly, it is a testing thing. And sometimes you just have to kind of get over the idea that you may miss some people by testing it, just to see what your audience is, kind of know what your audience is, giving you some insights. And then you start to refine your strategies over time, depending on their opening rates. I've always been a little cautious about that, and I haven't done it much, but you can do that.
Yeah. And remember, your subject line is a gateway into your email content. So when you're honest and you deliver on the promise that you make in the subject line within the email itself, these techniques, you can create the subject lines that grab their attention, entice them to continue to open your emails over and over again amidst the sea of other messages that are coming in your inbox.
For sure. Yeah. And we definitely want to caution, don't be spammy. Don't make your subject line or anything in your, anything be deceptive that's going to harm your reputation, or, if you're working for someone else, don't want to harm their reputation by creating something that's not going to be true. You definitely don't want to do that. Be authentic, but be very honest about what you're doing.
Yeah. And once your audience opens their email, you want to make sure that you keep them engaged and interested. So content really is the king in email marketing. So creating compelling content emails are essential to engaging the recipients. Um, it's going to drive them to take the action that they need because you created so much, um, content before that led them to even want your email. Now they're seeing that you're still creating great content. They're going to eventually buy from you. So that's the whole point, right? You're going to tell a story. So people love stories. Incorporating stories in your emails can really captivate the readers. I don't know if y'all have ever received an email that has a video in it, but that's pretty captivating. But share real life experiences. There's an email that I get from a girl who, I mean, it's like she's talking in her voice when she's writing. It's not very scripted at all, but professional. So, you know, customer success stories is a great way to do it. Narratives that relate to your brand and your products and your services, but use storytelling to demonstrate how you're offering problem solving for them and improving their lives and bringing joy to the customers. So reframing your content in a narrative format, you can make emails more relatable, memorable, and compelling.
Yeah, great point there. Number two, offer value and relevance. Of course, that goes without saying. Kind of goes along with what Melinda was just saying. Deliver that content that's going to provide value to them. You brought them into their world. You know they're interested in whatever your lead magnet subject is. Start to nurture them through that and offer really good value to them with that. And so it usually does go back to your lead magnet subject, something that you've already offered to them, but those helpful tips, pulling out little pieces of it, expanding upon it, giving them advice that they can act on. All those things really does cater to their interest and their needs, and they'll see you as an expert or as someone who really can see them. A lot of people say, I want to be seen. Well, if they can be seen that their pain points are and that you are committed to helping them solve their challenges, then you're going to be their person. You're going to be their go-to for sure. Mm-hmm. So if you consistently provide valuable content, then they're going to consistently open your emails and, again, increase their engagement with you. They're going to be loyal to you. Some people do segment out their emails. And once you get a large enough base to where you have people who are in one thing or another, if you've got several different email lead magnets, you may want to separate them because people who are interested maybe in widgets are not interested in skincare or whatever. But really, you just need to know that whatever your audience is resonating with, you need to nurture them for that.
Yeah, and use engaging visuals. So I talked about video just a few minutes ago, but we are visual beings, okay? And incorporating those captivating visuals can, significantly enhance your email content. I mean, think about what's the difference in like Facebook, LinkedIn, and like Instagram. Instagram is so captivating because it is visually stimulating. So high quality images, graphics, videos really will help evoke those emotions that you're wanting them to have so they can buy what you're offering, so it can help them with the pain points that they're having. So visuals can also be like a really good storytelling tool on their own to help convey complex ideas in a more digestible way. So consider using like interactive elements such as like GIFs, GIFs, whatever it's called.
GIFs. I need to look
GIFs or polls to encourage, engagement and make your emails stand out.
Good point. Good point. As a bonus, add a call to action. Have them doing something. Make sure that you put something that they will take the next step, whether it's visiting your website or making a purchase, whatever it is, signing up for an event, getting a newsletter, joining your Facebook group, whatever it is, have something in there that they can take a next step with you. Even if it is, put in another freebie for that so that you can see that they are engaging, a different freebie, but is along the same lines of their interest. A call to action will guide your audience toward the desired outcome and increase your effectiveness too. And a couple of things otherwise to keep in mind. I'll go ahead and throw these out there. Mobile is first. So when you're creating these emails, make sure that they are on mobile optimization. And I will go ahead and say too, that even though lots of these platforms that I work with will have a mobile option where you can click on it and look at how it looks on mobile, about half of the time when I create an email and I'll do a test email to myself and I look at it on my phone, it doesn't look the same. Even when I build websites or anything like that, the mobile that I see that there is within that platform, but the mobile that really shows up on my phone, and I have just a regular old iPhone, so it's not like I've got a small phone or anything. It just doesn't look the same. So I would say make sure that you send a test email, at least at the beginning. Send a few test emails when you're sending out emails so that you can gauge how the font looks, how a picture or graphic looks. Does it interact correctly on the phone? Because most everybody is going to be checking their emails through their smartphone. So it's not optional anymore. It's like really that should be our first line, although I don't know any platforms that will start you building on mobile. They really kind of should at this point. But just make sure, again, that you're looking at it. Make sure everything's easy to read, easy to see too on mobile.
Yes. And that goes along with the visual aspects of your email. So your eye-catching design and your clean layout contributes to a positive user experience. And it also reflects on your brand's professionalism for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And, and it's hard to avoid it. But like I mentioned, those spam seeking or the junk seeking bots, whatever they are, don't even understand how they work. Things will land in their spam folder, and that's the last thing that you want. So make sure that you do look at things that, the way that you're saying things to avoid those spam filters. That's super important too. And all right, so I'm going to ask a big question, and Melinda, this is a personal opinion question, okay? My topic is email frequency and timing. So my question is, how often for you, all right, how often for you is too often to get an email from the same person or group or business or whatever? Is an email every day acceptable, or should you, for you personally, do you want them to stretch that out and have fewer emails per week?
Yeah, I would say like one email per week. I just think that that's just way too much. Like I can't even get to the emails that I normally look at. And a lot of times, email marketing, the open rate is way less than like text marketing, for example. And so I think that it just kind of shows like the desperation that you have. If you do it too frequently, it almost seems to be a bit unprofessional.
No, I like that. I agree, because when I see something, it's just almost annoying to me when I see something come into my box from somebody every single day.
Right.
And there are some that I see every single day. On the other side of that, you don't want your people to forget about you. And I've been guilty of this. Honestly, I am currently guilty of this with my emails, where I have sent one out consistently every week, and then I'm giving them crickets for 2 to 3 weeks. And then I'll I'll wake up again and I'll start sending them emails again. And I think that's as annoying as anything else too, to be honest. And I'm guilty of it. So you don't want to bombard them, but you also don't want them to forget about you. So I think every week is a good measure there. And most of us, if you think about it, can come, if you think about it in your head, I'm just going to do 4. If that's what my campaign is, I'm going to write 4 right now, schedule them out every Tuesday or every 5 days or whatever it is. I think most of us can grasp that. We can probably do that. So, yeah.
That would be very doable.
Yeah, I think so too. So, this can be a topic that we could probably spend all day on, to be honest, but we can't squeeze in everything. So my biggest advice is get started. If you need help, reach out. We'd love to help you with that. But just get started. Start thinking about, if you've already done your lead magnet, you've already got your landing page, you're starting to get people to opt into it. Now it's time to start nurturing those people. And in most sites that you're talking to, when you're looking at them, all of those that I mentioned earlier, you can actually set up where they'll come into the top, which is to get your landing page, your lead magnet. And then they will, after 5 days, get the second email, and then they'll get this third one. And maybe somebody comes in next month and grabs your lead magnet. They'll be at the top and they'll get your second and third. So you can
Right.
really just, I mean, this isn't something that you've got to constantly be recreating. It's something you can start and have it start to just really just nurturing those people without you having to do anything once you've created it the first time, except maybe edit it later, just making sure that everything still sounds good after 3 months or something.
For sure. And y'all, we just want to thank you guys for joining us today. If you have any questions or need any further assistance, like Lisa said, please reach out to us. We're here to help with that. And remember, until next time, slay those giants, girls, so you can empower the yet in your life and live happy, joyous, and free in Christ and start changing your family tree. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.